I've noticed that, and some of my clients or business partners, if we're going to put it that way, have said that they've noticed a trend even now, that they are starting to get an abundance of people who want to do their own parties. So they will hire some equipment, or their, the son or the cousin or something like that. They're a bit into their DJ stuff and want to do the party themselves. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good way of cutting down costs, and the lad or lass herself or himself might be quite a good DJ. But, and there's always a but, the point is that there's a slight problem with doing the party yourself, and that is you need somebody sort of dedicated to give up their evening to do the party. And the other thing as well is that from the establishment part, or from their side, you can run into a bit of a problem. Over here in Germany, most parties tend to be what they call open-end. Means to say we start at whatever time. Let's just say this is a normal party. It will start at, say, 7 o'clock at night, and at 12 o'clock they will have a midnight coffee or buffet or something like that. And then afterwards it's then through to whatever time it is to say good night and turn the music off. And that's at the discretion of the host. Now, if you have somebody who is part of that party doing the music from an established point of view, or establishment point of view, it becomes then quite difficult if, say for example, they've got the music up just way too loud, to then go to that person and say, look, can you just turn it down a little bit? Because there are some people who do actually still want to talk and don't want to get blasted out by a load of music. It's also very difficult at about, should we say, 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, when there's literally just a handful of people left over who aren't dancing, they're not drinking, but they want to listen to the music and they want to talk. But the problem is that the venue is burning electricity and they're paying for staff, and that costs an establishment money. And 5 people sat there not doing anything and not generating any money, not for the DJ obviously because they're part of the party, but for the establishment, it's very uneconomical. And one of the things that an establishment can do to or say to the DJ is call it quits. It doesn't mean to say that he just says, oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough for this evening, I'm off out, see you later. No, that's not what the book DJ does. However, you can slowly change the music. You can see that people are tired, and you can see that the establishment isn't generating any money. And at that point, you can, as a book DJ, speak with the host and negotiate an end time. So 20 minutes of music, half an hour of music or something like that, or maybe sort of low-key stuff, so it's not about being on the dance floor and jumping up and down, because nobody's doing that anyway. But you could have maybe 4 or 5 songs of really good tracks that people can actually sit down, drink their last drink with, and then go away at the end of the night, or go away in the early hours of the morning thinking, oh, that was just fantastic. If we have somebody doing these events who's part of the party, then you can't say that to them, because they're a guest as well. And there's nothing wrong with turning up with an iPad with iDJ on it, or whatever it's called, and mixing some tracks together. At the end of the day, it's a party, and it's about playing good music. And because they're part of the guests, they generally know what they want as well. So there's no problems with that. But then on the other side, if all professional DJs turned up at an event with an iPod and a laptop, then this then stems further. It creates this impression that when people turn up and see a booked professional DJ asking for an exceptional amount of money, that they then may start thinking, well, I can do that as well. So they just go out and get themselves a laptop, get themselves an iPod, go and get themselves, DJ program BPM or something like that. Who cares? It doesn't matter. They can just play from iTunes or Windows, media player. But then they go and just get themselves a cheap set of speakers. And again, in another video that we've seen recently, is to make loud noise does not cost a lot of money. A megaphone costs $10 and it can produce 104, 110 decibels. But creating good quality sound that covers the whole frequency band and is also designed to sort of drop off after about 10 or 15 meters, so that you have this hotspot area on the dance floor where it's extremely loud, over 90 decibels, around about more like 95, 96 decibels on the dance floor. But then as you get to the back of the dance floor, amazingly, the sound just really just drops off. It's like dropping off of a cliff. And within a few meters, you've dropped down to 90, down to 80, and right at the back of the room, you can't hear anything. Virtually anything at all. So the people at the back of the room who don't want to dance, who want to talk, can actually talk, and they're not getting blasted to, smithereens by some cheap sound system which literally just projects across the whole room. Other DJs will buy a top of the range speaker system that is designed for a live band, and with a live band you want everybody to hear your music, whereas with a DJ you only want the people on the dance floor to really hear the music, and everybody else, it's more not quite background but definitely loud enough so that they're aware that there's a disco going on, but quiet enough that they can still talk and they're not screaming and shouting. And for those who really don't want to dance at all for the whole night but want to enjoy the company and celebrate the time of the host, or hence celebrate their birthday with the host and everything, they're not going to go home with this ringing in their ears and God knows what else. So where are we going with all this? Well, it's a good point. Point is that if you're a budget DJ and you are just using an iPod and a laptop and just a couple of flashy lights or something like that, or no lights at all or whatever, then guests, young lads or whatever, will see that and think, well, that's the required standard. If you turn up at a venue and you have a good quality set of speakers that produce a really nice, best way of explaining it, creamy sound, it's just luscious, whilst you're listening to it on the dance floor, and it's not peeking in your ear, and you're not just hearing this bass just whacking you in the face. And then you have a look at the equipment that the person has, and it's just buttons everywhere, or that the equipment doesn't look all flimsy and plastic and cheap like a toy. It looks beyond the sort of budget that you would be prepared to give out just so you can just jump in and start doing some gigs yourself. So it's important for us as a mobile DJ to make sure that we have a certain level of standard of equipment. And I understand that we can all say, but it's all about the music. And yes, it is all about the music. However, there is a certain element of psychology involved. And if somebody is going to spend, should we say, half their month's wages, or spend their month's wages on booking a professional DJ, and I think the least that we can do is make the effort to turn up and produce the best possible gig that we can give that couple or that person. And this video could go on a lot longer, because ultimately the sound that comes out of Traktor or Virtual DJ or Serato isn't really all that much better than playing exactly the same track from an iPod. But from the guest's point of view, from the public's point of view, it makes a huge difference. Because if we continue to lower the standard, then more and more people are going to think that they can do this themselves. And that's something that somebody who just thinks that they can just buy a laptop and an iPod and just jump on the bandwagon and go out and do a party, that's something that you need to be taught. It's something that you need to switch on to. It's something that you need to also have initially inside. Not everybody can beat match, because not everybody can listen to a song in this side and a song in this side and get them in synchronization. I cannot be the best surgeon in the world, and the best surgeon in the world cannot be the best DJ in the world. So find your forte, stick to it, and maybe together we can actually do this business some justice. Practice and enjoy, everyone.